Hi everyone and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where today I'm back here at the Alton Towers Resort and I wanted to film a video talking about current ride availability at the park. Now of course we're into September now, the quieter period for parks around the UK, including here at Alton Towers. The hours are now back to 10 AM through until 4 PM. It's a much quieter time to come to the park and get those rides in. But also what's been really noticeable throughout the 2024 season is ride availability, especially rides not opening at the start of the day, rides just going down for extended periods. And also this year, even though Alton Towers is a seasonal park, at the moment there's currently 2 roller coasters closed for planned maintenance and construction. So I'm just going to talk a bit about all of that in this video. Now firstly, just wanted to mention about how I access the queue times when I'm not here at the resort, because a while ago they changed it on the Alton Towers app that you could only view queue times as soon as you're actually here on Alton Towers property. I use a website called ridetimes.co.uk. It's linked up perfectly with the app, so it tells you exactly what the queue time is and you can view that from anywhere around the world. And it's definitely worth looking at that to help plan your visit here to the resort, especially with the official app only showing queue times when you're here. But yeah, it's very clever, ridetimes.co.uk. It syncs it up and you can see exactly what's open, what's closed. It also tells you if a ride's been open that day, how long it's been down for, and of course if it's going to be closed for the full day as well. So that's how I get a lot of the information about what's open, what's available when I'm not actually here at the Alton Towers Resort. So yeah, I just wanted to share that bit of a top tip for you, which does help plan your visit here to the park. But I just wanted to also get in that I understand, that rides break down at theme parks all around the world. There's extended downtime that happens, and that's just a thing. It happens at theme parks. Not everything is always going to open on time or as planned. However, at the moment it's quite clear that at Alton Towers there's some serious issue when it comes to ride reliability and things opening on time. Some mornings, such as yesterday, there can be 5 or 6 major rides closed for the first 2 hours of the day. It was the same this morning, just arriving onto the car park and looking at the queue times, and there was 4 major rides closed. So I was going to have a bit of a walk around the park this morning, see what's actually open at the start of the day, and then also talk about some of the extended closures that are happening over the next few days and few weeks here at the resort as well. I love this park, I really do. It's the place that I've grown up with. I wouldn't visit all the theme parks around the world if it wasn't for Alton Towers, but it's really frustrating at the moment just to see the park being operated the way that it is. And we were all promised a better season this year, but here we are in September. We've got no Sky Ride, no Hex, we've got rides closed everywhere around the park. So much downtime. What is going on at the moment? It really isn't great. So let's have a walk around and just see what ride availability is like here today. Now, something else that we've also unfortunately heard is that quite a few operational cuts have been made here at the park. So we'll talk a little bit about those later and also see what we can see happening around the different areas. So we're going to start off this update over here by Wickerman, and before I get fully into this, just wanted to show you the current queue times across the park, almost 45 minutes into the operational day. So you've got Galactica on 15 minutes, Nemesis Subterra on 25, the Smiler also on 25, you've then got 13 which is on 40, Rita on 45, Oblivion did open, but it's now delayed and it's been down for 20 minutes, so it operated for about 20-25 minutes today. Nemesis Reborn has not opened today, Wickerman has not opened today, and Spinball Wizard 2. However, that is closed for planned maintenance that was previously advertised. So here we are at almost 10:45 AM, and it's a 4 o'clock ride close today. A lot of people want to get straight on the first ride at 10 o'clock. They've arrived early to make sure they can get the first ride in, and Wickerman is only just opening, as you can see just over here. Yeah, I reckon a lot of the people here, this is their first ride of the day, that have come here nice and early and got to the park wanting to get straight on. So yeah, I just wanted to start off here at Wicker. I looked at the queue times as soon as they entered the park, and there we go. It's literally just started to open, the first guests into the queue line. 45 minutes into the operational day. And obviously they've only just started letting people in because they're only just starting to come round there on the side. Wickerman. So queue times have now updated, Wickerman on 15 minutes. So we're going to head up towards Nemesis Reborn now, because that's also not open today. And by the time I walk down there, I'll be almost an hour into the day. So let's go and see what's happening down at Nemesis. Down here then, into a very atmospheric Forbidden Valley. It looks like there's a pre-queue for Nemesis Reborn. Let's see if it's testing. Oh, it is, there we go. Let's go and have a closer look. Well, the beast is cycling round, but there's not really a pre-queue. There's just a few people gathered out the front of the entrance. Yeah, the staff are advising people to head down to Galactica first, which makes me think it could be a little while before it opens, because they're not really letting people get close to the entrance and start like a little pre-queue out the front. And yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock now, nearly 1 hour into the day on a 4 o'clock ride close. Well, it's 11:03 now, and the beast wants to wake up. She keeps testing, so hopefully it'll be in operation very soon. Looks like techies may just be leaving the station area, and normally that's a good sign. The ride will then get handed over to the rides team to start normal operation. Yeah, quite a few people starting to gather up there at the entrance now, which makes me think it's going to be opening soon. But yeah, that's going to be at least 65 minutes after park opening. Down the front, there's a couple of staff members. Yeah, staff rides taking place now. Again, that's just a standard procedure before guests are allowed onto the ride. They do a staff ride just to make sure that everything is fine for them. So I reckon that's about to open in the next few minutes. What's making me really sad about the situation with ride availability here at the moment is the fact that people spend so much money to come here to Alton Towers, whether it's buying park tickets, annual passes, then you've got to think of the fuel to get here, hotel accommodation. Of course, many people spend a lot of money to stay on site here at the resort, and of course they want to get as many rides in as they can do. You know, ride breakdowns are a normal occurrence. They happen at theme parks all around the world, but seeing this many rides closed at one period of time, and so many rides opening over an hour, sometimes 2 hours after park close for the first time that day, it's just not a normal occurrence in a theme park. And that's really why I wanted to film this video. You know, that's the purpose of it. It's getting down to what's actually happening. Why are these rides opening late when it's never been an issue before? So it's 11:08 now, and we've got a similar situation to what I saw down at Wickerman almost 30 minutes ago. Literally, we were just waiting out here at the front for it to open. Yeah, nearly 70 minutes into the operational day here. Luckily, the Awesome Entertainments team have got the street theatre down here in Forbidden Valley. They're just having to entertain people waiting in the pre-queue just there. So I was waiting around for about another 10 minutes just in Forbidden Valley, talking to some fans of the channel, and it still didn't open in that time. So it's 11:20 now, and Nemesis still hasn't opened for the day. And yeah, like obviously the staff rise took place, maintenance looked like they were leaving. So yeah, I assume it's going to open soon, but I'll keep my eyes peeled on the app and we'll see when that opens. Now Oblivion down in X sector is still showing us down. Yeah, it's been down for about 50 minutes. So we're going to head down there and have a little look if it's cycling and just what's happening down with that situation at the moment. So Nemesis Reborn has just opened, almost 80 minutes into the operational day here at Alton Towers. And yeah, it's open with a 20-minute wait. Let's head down to X sector. And just whilst I'm walking down to X sector, I just wanted to show you a look at the setup for Oktoberfest that starts in a few days' time. This Saturday, we're going to be here for the first day of Oktoberfest, capturing all the entertainment and atmosphere from the event. It's always one of the highlights in the calendar. It does look like the event has been reduced a little bit for this year. The fact that there's only going to be one Oktoberfest location, which is going to be on the lawns, instead of it also being spread in the courtyard as well, or at least it seems that is the case at the moment. However, we'll find out on Saturday with that one. But you have got the cover back there on the lawns, which I'm sure will be appreciated, especially on a rainy day, because sometimes for Oktoberfest the weather isn't the best. At least now we're all not going to get drenched whilst we're watching the entertainment there. Now the Smiler did open a little bit late this morning, but not too far after 10 o'clock from looking on the app. Maybe about 10-15 minutes. It's currently advertised on a 45-minute queue. Obviously with Oblivion being down, that took a bit of capacity away from this area, because obviously that means the Smiler is the only ride operational in this whole area. Let's go and have a look at Oblivion and see what's going on. Well, to be honest, it's all very quiet down here. Can't see any shuttles out there on the layout. No mist on, no sound effects or anything. It's all very quiet. Let's have a look down here at the entrance to the ride. Obviously these people want to ride on Oblivion and they've come down here and it's closed. And there's not even a member of staff out the front, I don't think. I mean, that was always policy at Alton Towers, like if a ride went down, just to have a member of staff out the front just giving you information about what's going on. Yeah, so it's really not a good look. There we go, just closed. Nobody about, nothing. Yeah, not even a member of staff just to greet you out the front. I mean, literally that was just an Alton Towers policy, wasn't it? Like, if a ride was down, there'd be someone here just giving you a bit of information. And obviously they couldn't say too much and go into the technicalities of it, but they'd always be here and just say, oh yeah, try back later, or we're hoping to get it open later on, or yeah, it's going to be closed for the day. But nothing, just a closed sign. Yeah, nothing going on. See if we can see any shuttles on the brake run down here. It's just really not in a good state at the moment, is it? I mean, the season started off. Oh, here we go. We've got some movement. Yeah, the season started off like it was going to be quite bright. We had that video by Alton Towers, you know, like everything's going to be fantastic. Hex is coming back, returning, and you know, we're all quite pumped for the start of what was going to be a positive season. And as the year's gone on, you know, it's just got worse, sadly. And then we've ended up in this situation now where we've got terrible ride availability. There we go. Yeah, there is a shuttle going up the lift, so maybe they were garaged and then they now come out again. According to queue times, it did open earlier on and then closed, so it's been shut for over an hour. There we go, shuttles are going round. And obviously what makes the situation a lot worse is when you've got a lot of big rides closed, you know, you need your filler rides, and that's something that there is none of down here in X Sector. Of course, the Retro Squad looked out of place and they needed to go. The temporary rides they had here at Alton Towers for 3 years, but they weren't replaced for this year. And yes, I know we've got Project Ocean coming, a new flat ride in Forbidden Valley, but that isn't solving the problem down here in X Sector, which has got no supporting rides. And the same in Dark Forest, again, 2 major coasters and no supporting rides. So the park's just really not in a good state at the moment. Now, Alton Towers is mostly a seasonal theme park that operates from the middle of March every day through until the start of November each year. And yes, they open a few attractions at Christmas and also February half term, but mostly the focus is on the main season, and that allows ride maintenance to be done throughout the winter periods, throughout part of November, and then of course January and February and early March before the start of the main season. However, for this year on the website, there's a ride and attraction availability page that has been added, and it also lists the temporary closures at the park. Now, of course, we already know about Hex, the Legend of the Towers, that's opening at some point in 2024. We still had no further updates on Hex, other than the fact that it's going to be open at some point this autumn. But yeah, that is all we know at the moment. Of course, Skyride, the main transportation around the theme park, is closed throughout the whole of the 2024 season, much like it was throughout 2023. But then also, there's a couple of things that have been added onto the closures list now we're here in September. So this started yesterday. Spinball Whizzer is closed from the 3rd to the 6th of November 2024 to install a single rider queue. Now, of course, it's great to see that more single riders are going to be coming back into the park. That is a real positive. However, for me, is that a priority for the ride to be shut for 3 days still? Probably not. I think that should have been done after the season, in my opinion, ready for next year. And that's something else to market for 2025, isn't it? And be like, yeah, we've got a return of single rider queues around the park. Hopefully they're coming to some other attractions. We've heard they possibly are. So yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, I'm surprised it's closed for 3 days. We'll have a little look in a second and see what we can see down at Spinball Whizzer. As you can see down at the bottom, Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure, the main family roller coaster in CBeebies Land, is closed from the 4th to the 25th of September 2024, subject to change for maintenance. So maybe that makes me think it's not going to be for as long as that possibly, but they don't know yet. So I wanted to put a little bit longer on there just in case. But there we go. I'm quite surprised to see, you know, 2 roller coasters out of 10 are closed for maintenance during the main season. I found that quite surprising. Obviously one for a single rider queue with Octonauts. I'm not too sure what's happening, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. So the Spinball area is all barriered off, and yeah, there's actually a member of staff down here, unlike down at Oblivion like we saw. But yeah, at least they have stationed a member of staff just down here to keep people updated with what's going on. Well, yeah, there's no spinning and whizzing today, and yeah, we can see quite a bit of work happening just over there to install the single rider queue. So yeah, a lot of these coasters did used to have single rider queues in the past, and they got took away. I'm not too sure on the reasoning why, but they did take a lot of the single riders away. So it's good to see that they are going to be bringing more back, and it looks like the single riders being installed by the exit. And you'll zoom in a little bit there, you can see some wood down the side and what looks like a completely separate queue area being installed just there at the side. And yeah, they're working on that over the next few days. So yeah, once that's in, we'll have to come and yeah, check it out and see how efficient it is. But normally with Spinball, when it used to have single rider back in the day, it was really efficient. So yeah, if you don't mind splitting up from your party, it is definitely a good option and helps you get on more rides throughout the day. So definitely a positive addition coming to Spinball Whizzer. Looking forward to trying it out, but I just wish it wasn't done in the season. I think for me, it's not really a massive priority. I would have waited until the closed season and then put the single rider in, ready for 2025. But still, at least it's going to be in for Oktoberfest, Scarefest and fireworks, you know, the busiest time really of the year. So, you know, it's one of them, isn't it? I'm glad that it's coming in. I was not too sure on the timing because, you know, for a seasonal theme park, closing some major attractions isn't the best, even though it has been advertised in advance on the website. Already just walking down here, there's been like 4 or 5 groups of families and they've all said, oh, we didn't realise that Spinball was going to be closed. So obviously it's just a little bit of disappointment for them when they get here in the main season when they think it's going to be a full ride offering. Right then, so just turn the corner here into CBeebies Land. Not looking too busy in here today at all. And here's a look at the Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure. So this is going to be closed from today through until the 24th of September. I mean, that could change based on the wording on the website. But yeah, this looks like some pretty major work happening over to the station. Obviously, they've just started this today, but scaffolding's going into place around the station. And yeah, it looks like some pretty major work happening there. I mean, are they going to put a full roof over the station maybe? I mean, I find it bizarre in this country when rides are built without a full roof, to be honest, especially a roller coaster like this. You know, it really does need a roof put in over the station. It just helps protect the train and of course the staff up there on the station. I actually used to work on Octonauts back when I used to work here at the resort, and we didn't even have a cover for the staff, so it was literally the operator's booth on this side. But then on the other side, where you've got the host, there wasn't even a cover, and that got added a few years ago now, and I'm glad that it did, because I used to get soaked when I was stood there hosting on the ride. So I'm glad that, you know, that was added, but maybe we're now seeing a full cover put over the station, or is it just a station refurbishment? I'm not too sure, but as you can see, the scaffolding looks like it's rising higher than the station. So I'm not too sure. I guess we'll find out. We'll keep you updated on this one. But yeah, if you are coming over the next few weeks, expect Octonauts to be closed. It was a bit of a last minute addition to the website, this one. Yeah, and there's a look at the train parked out at the station on the brake run. And then you've also got that little metal bar going across the track as well there, just to protect it. There we go. Let's see what happens with this one. Yeah, interesting developments at Octonauts. Obviously this opened back in 2015 to Zamperla Junior Coaster. And I've just noticed to put this sign out the front here too. This attraction is currently having a fantabulous makeover. They love that word here at Alton Towers, fantabulous. Whilst you get ready to sparkle again, please enjoy our other fantastical rides and attractions. They also love that word, fantastical. Plan your day with the Alton Towers app. I was just going to see if we could see a bit more of the work happening on Spinball Whizzer from here on that single rider queue, but yeah, I can't quite see. Obviously they're doing some building work off to the right hand side there too. Looks like they're replacing the boards just there, some of the theming. And here's another interesting one in terms of staffing. Down here at the entrance to CBeebies Land, there's normally always a member of staff here greeting you and welcoming you into the land, and also saying goodbye when you come out of CBeebies. But as you can see, there's no greeter here. Like, there's no member of staff down here at the entrance to CBeebies Land. And yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever seen this since the land opened 10 years ago, back in 2014. Obviously, I used to work down here myself. I actually did this role a few times, and it was always like a must. You know, they had to be a greeter on the entrance to CBeebies Land. But there we go. It looks like that's a position that's now gone, or at least at the moment. And just going back to the Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure, again, I am quite surprised on the timing for this one, especially because it seems like it's not really ride maintenance happening. It looks like it's going to be construction work on the station. I am surprised they've done it still in the main season. And yes, it's a much quieter time than it would have been last week, now that we're into September and the off-peak days. But still, you've got one of the main events in the calendar coming up from this weekend, Oktoberfest, and the main family coaster in CBeebies Land is going to be closed for that period. So yeah, I'm not too keen on the timing with that. Yeah, I don't know why, you know, this year and all the years they've had Octonauts, they decide to do this work now instead of in the off season like they normally would do. But anyway, let's just have a little look at the setup from this side for Oktoberfest, kicking off from this Saturday. yeah, the cover over the launch just there. Of course, it doesn't look the best, the cover, and does kind of block the view of the towers a little bit. However, it is needed, especially with the weather that we do get here in the UK. I can see why they've done it, because they put on some great entertainment there on the stage, and then a lot of the time in poor weather, there was no one down there on the lawns, you know, so it's a lot better having the cover. Obviously, we did see that earlier in the year as well for part of the CBeebies event. They took it away for the summer, because obviously it was the summer months, and luckily we did have some nice weather, which makes a change, but then the covers come back now for Oktoberfest, and I reckon it's probably going to say for the Scarefest entertainment there, or at least I guess so, based on the fact they've brought it back for Oktoberfest. Let's just share a little bit of an update then on the Sky Ride that last operated here in 2022. It's been closed for 2 full seasons, and fingers crossed this will be back for 2025. From the start of the season, it really needs to be from an accessibility point of view, and just to help people out getting around this park. It's a massive theme park, and you know, it really does rely on transportation. The Sky Ride here is the main transport in the park, with 3 stations, including this one down here on Tower Street, and we saw them give all the stations a bit of a glow up, and they're looking really nice, like all the signage and everything, and all painted up. There's been a bit of work happening in the stations throughout the season from what we've seen, and also on the main supports and on the wires themselves that hold the gondolas. So yeah, there's been active work happening throughout the year, which is good to see. I just really hope we see the Sky Ride back in operation right from the start of next year, because they've had 2 years to sort out the issues now, and I think in that period of time they could have built a whole brand new one if they wanted to. So yeah, I don't think there'll be any excuses if that isn't ready for the start of next year. We know they're investing in the future with the Sky Ride, a huge multi-million-pound investment. I can appreciate that, but if it's closed for a 3rd year, or at least, you know, even from the start of next year, I don't think that's a good sign at all. You know, this really needs to be back. The investment needs putting straight into it to get the Sky Ride back open here. So it's now 21 minutes past 12, and here's a look at the queue times across the park. As you can see, it's still quite busy, especially for a 4 o'clock ride close, with some pretty big queues just down here. But everything that's scheduled to be open today is now open, including Oblivion on 25 minutes. So yeah, obviously whatever the issue was earlier, that's now being resolved. It was probably down for about 75 minutes, based on checking the app just here. But yeah, you can see like the Smilers on 30, Wickerman 30, Nemesis 35, Galactica on 70, and I guess that's probably because, again, of reduced staffing, running that on 1 station, 2 crafts I'd imagine, instead of 2 stations and 3 crafts like it would normally be. Obviously reducing the capacity, and that's brought the queue time up to 70 minutes. Wickerman advertised now on a 30-minute wait, and yeah, I mentioned earlier on about some operational cuts that have been made around the park. One of those is actually having entrance staff on the ride entrances. Now normally you'd always see a host just here out the front, just available to answer any questions. Obviously if the ride did go down, there'd be someone stood here, and also to check height restrictions before people join the queue. Obviously Wickerman is a 1.2 metre height restriction. There'd be a host just here, and they'd be able to check that before people join the queue, and obviously that is now no more, so there's no one actually greeting you on the entrances to the rides. I'm not too sure how long this is going to be remaining in place, but that is certainly the case at the moment, and that's one of the cutbacks that has been made. And that could also explain why there was no one on the CBeebies entrance. Just small little things, isn't it? Like just, you know, someone greeting you to the ride and just there to answer any questions and information. Well, most importantly, from a safety point of view, it's checking that height restriction, and it's just avoiding disappointments. As much as there is, you know, height boards clearly visible out the front, and it's up to the parents' responsibility, you know, to check the child's height before joining the queue. It just reassures people having someone else there, and the staff member could then check to make sure that anybody entering that queue is the right height to ride on that attraction. And now also we've seen another staggered opening come here to the park, and that's the Congo River Rapids. And now that always opened at 11 o'clock, well that's been pushed back another hour now to 12 p.m. Now I know it might not seem like the end of the world opening a ride 2 hours later, but it does mean that on a 4 o'clock ride close, the Rapids is only operational for 4 hours from midday through until 4 p.m. I'd say a main reason why they've done this is because of how many staff it takes to run this now. Not just the staff on the platform and the operator, but also having staff positioned in quite a few places around the ride just to make sure that everyone's remaining seated. That on top of the fact that Rapids are actually some of the most expensive rides for theme parks to run, and that's because of the amount of water and all the pumps and electrics to it. They do cost a lot of money to actually run a Rapids. So yeah, 4 hours of operation now on Congo River Rapids on these quieter days. And it's not just this attraction that's on a staggered opening. You've got a full area, the world of David Williams, where you've got Gangster Granny the ride. That whole area doesn't open until 11 o'clock, so that's also a staggered opening here at Alton Towers, and that came into force already earlier this year. That on top of ride closures, things that are closed anyway for this year, you know, it really is not a great time for ride availability here, which does make me really sad. You know, it's the park that I've grown up with, but I've never seen it with reliability like this before. It's a real shame, it really is. And as always, I'd like to know your thoughts on this down below in the video comments. Have you been over the past few weeks or throughout 2024 and just noticed about the ride availability? I know quite a lot of people have, but I'd be interested to know your thoughts down below in the comments. And it's a Wednesday when I'm filming this today, but I know that yesterday, Tuesday, was a really bad day for availability. From looking on the app and at the ride times, I know quite a few people that were here yesterday, and yeah, it was quite a poor day for rides actually being open here at Alton Towers. But yeah, not the best state again at the moment. It's a shame. It's the second season now. Well, we're coming towards the end of the year and things really aren't that great, are they, at the moment? It's a real shame. I just hope that things pick up soon, you know, because I love this park. I'm so passionate about it. I just really hope we see things better in 2025. So as I was walking past the Curse Alton Manor, I thought I might as well have a ride on there, especially with it having no wait at all, and got onto there, and unfortunately there was quite a few effects that weren't working. For a few weeks now, the Trommel Tunnel, the spinning vortex, that hasn't been working for quite some time. And then along with that, down towards the end of the ride, just before you get to the large Emily Head that's projection mapped, all of the scene before that wasn't working, like the screens, the projections on the walls, yeah, none of that was working, and no sound either, so I'm not too sure what had happened there. Maybe a sensor that hadn't activated, but again, effects have been quite reliable in the Curse Alton Manor until the past couple of months. It seems like maybe not as much care and attention is going into the upkeep of them effects now, which is a shame, because they build some really nice things here, they create some great things, but just don't look after them in the long term, you know, which is such a shame. There goes Galactica. Hey, the B&M flying coaster, and yeah, it looks like it's running on 2 graphs, 1 station. The queue has dropped to 25 minutes though now, probably because the crowds are spread out. When it was on that big queue earlier at like 70 minutes, that was probably also whilst Nemesis was closed as well for a period of time, so everyone was forced down onto this ride that was in this area. But still, there's clearly some issues going on here at the moment with ride availability. I just hope that these can be sorted out soon. It's a beautiful park, it's always going to be close to my heart. I'll always enjoy coming here, but as it is operationally at the moment, things just aren't great. And as I said at the start of the video, I understand that rides have downtime, maintenance needs to happen. That's just the normal in a theme park. But when you come into a park and seeing 4, 5 or even 6 major rides closed for the first couple of hours of the day, there's some serious issues that need looking at, and I don't know what it all comes down to. Is it the fact they've just not got enough maintenance staff here now, getting round in the morning and checking off the rides? Because as I mentioned earlier, when we saw the downtime at Nemesis, there was a staff ride going on, maintenance had just left. Maintenance have got to go around every day to each ride and do like the pre-start checks and make sure that everything's right before it can be handed over to rides. Is it a lack of maintenance staff so they can't you know, get around the park fast enough and do that? It certainly seems like it's more on a morning where there's an issue, so it makes me think it all comes down to that. So I really hope these issues are resolved soon, because at the moment ride availability is the worst I've ever seen it in my time coming here to Alton Towers. And if you are coming here, you know, just beware of that. You want to plan a little bit more time to get things in. Maybe come for a couple of days instead of just one day, especially on these 4 o'clock closes at the moment. You know, it really isn't ideal when there's staggered openings, there's rides closed, there's downtime. Before you know it, the day's over when you've come to the end of your visit. But let me know your thoughts down below in the video comments. You know, I'm always interested to know what you always think. And here on Theme Park Worldwide, we always keep it honest. We'll give praise when the parks need praise, and we'll also give negativity when they deserve it. Like at the moment, things just aren't the best here, and we really hope that things are better. We'll always be honest on this channel. I'm not ever going to lie and say that things are better than they are. Right now, I won't talk over Galactica. Right now, Alton Towers just isn't in the best place still for a few years running, and I really hope things get better soon. The park needs more capacity, but luckily we are getting a new flat ride down here in Forbidden Valley. The crane is up for Project Ocean, and that's tomorrow's video coming up here on Theme Park Worldwide. Following on from that, I'll be talking all about Scarefest and what we're going to see for the event this year, and then Oktoberfest this weekend. So loads of Alton Towers content over the next few days. I'm Sean Sandbrook, thanks for watching, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you later.